Greetings everyone, I am Dr. J. I used to do these on my second channel, where I'd just sit back and relax with a game of my choosing, but since I do a terrible job at promoting my second channel, I figured, I'm feeling pretty lazy today. I just had a really busy day of work. I'm just gonna sit back and relax, after I eventually get emulation to work properly on this computer. So, say hello to Plants vs. Zombies Heroes. This is a wonderful little card game that managed to drag me away from Hearthstone, and I figured, I just want to sit back, relax, have a little bit of fun, maybe cross-promote my second channel a little bit by doing something that I normally do over there. So, for those of you who don't know what this is, it is a card game by Popcap that takes advantage of Plants vs. Zombies, and, oh, that was not a good mulligan. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But as you can see, I am emulating this. I'm using a program called Nox, if I'm not mistaken. I'll leave a link to that in the description as well. But it's a fun little card game, and I figured that why not showcase it? So the idea, as you would expect, is similar to Hearthstone, where you are controlling one of a number of different heroes, and your goal is to punch the opponent in the face. But unlike Hearthstone, you have actual phases. So the zombies start by playing minions, then plants can play whatever they want, then the zombies can play what are called tricks, which are basically spells, and then we carry on our way. However, there's another little bit of trickiness added onto it, because every time you damage the enemy hero, they gain 1 to 3 ticks on this block meter. And whenever that happens, it means that when that goes to full, the attack that brings it to full is completely blocked. And then they get to use one of a number of superpowers, one of which I just used against that zombie. So it's a fun little game, and it helped me get through a long week at work, I will say that. Because it's the summer, I do have a day job while I'm... Oh, that's not fun. Oh, great. This thing's gonna get cards out of him, isn't he? Yep, he's gonna get cards. If I'm not lazy on editing, I could probably use all of the blank space to the right of me and all that fun stuff to take advantage of a few things, but I'm a lazy jerk, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put down what's called an environment card to make this lane a little more dangerous. Well, not really. You'll see the descriptions on the side, maybe, if I'm not being lazy. The basic idea is I put a minion there and I get more mushrooms. Okay, unfortunately, you're getting cards from that thing, and I cannot allow that to carry on indefinitely. So what would be the best move? There's a 1 in 2 chance that... Okay, I know what I need to do. Okay, step 1, throw this down here. That'll buff these 2 mushrooms, and it'll also spawn another from this environment. Unfortunately, I am unlucky as hell, apparently. I was hoping that mushroom would spawn over here, but it was 1 in 2 chance. It's an opposing lane, so... Well, okay. I don't want to play this yet, because I get a card whenever I do. Oh, after I have 6 sun. I don't want to give him more cards, though. Well, let's see what he does next turn anyway. I'll make my decision then. Okay, he's plugged... Okay, so that 1 damage was blocked. And what superpower did he get from that? If he will eventually play it. Come on, man. Ah, he got his special superpower. There are a number of superpowers that are shared let's see, 3 of the superpowers are shared between everyone, but there are 2 of which that are only accessible... I'm trying to think of the right word. But there is 1 that is unique to each hero. So, what are you going to play next? Because I've got a fair amount of removal in my hand. That's not good! I'm not sure how to respond to that, because that has the anti-hero effect, which means it does more damage whenever there's not an opposing minion. Alright, I've got an idea. This thing will do extra damage to a random zombie or the hero when it dies, so we'll put that down there. We'll guarantee this thing's death. I'm just gonna have to take the 6 damage to the face, I think, at least for now. I'll have this next turn for card draw. He can't play anything, so we should be fine. Ooh, 3 blocks? Oh my gosh, I'm getting unlucky on these block charges. Wow, really unlucky on these block charges. I need that thing dead now. I was really hoping that the Punish Shroom would hit this guy instead. I hope my cursor's coming up. Okay, another anti-hero minion. Let's see. I think I can afford to take the 1 in 2 chance on... Oops. Uh-oh, that's not going to be good. Those things will get more powerful when he plays a trick. So, let's see if I'm lucky. Alright, I get the Ooh, a punish room. I am lucky. Excellent. And let's see if I can take advantage of this by putting a punish room down. Okay, so if he destroys any of these mushrooms, the punish room will do 2 random damage to something. The hope is that it doesn't do damage to that. Okay, you're moving the zombie. That's fine. So it'll take out the sage. And yes, this is Plants vs. Zombies. The puns are everywhere. That's it? I mean, that does grant you a block charge. Depends on what you're using it for. If you get... Oh, dear. Well, that's not fun. So... that won't even kill that. Shoot. Okay. Now, what is the punish room aiming for? Okay, good. That one will die. That's good. Alright, so that'll die. Okay, you finally did some damage to that, but that's 4 health on me. Okay. This is gonna be a close one. So, I've got a berry blast that I can use to take this guy out. But, that's annoying. I'm thinking Ooh. I've got a decent card here that'll do 4 damage to any zombie played on the field. Okay, here's what we do. He has no brains left, so I know he won't be playing any tricks. So we'll put that down. I was hoping it would be in front of the imp, but... Alright. You are gonna go away, just in case we're unlucky on the punish rooms. You can't do anything this turn, so... let's see how lucky we are on the punish rooms. Okay, that's as to be expected. Ooh, nice! He takes 6 damage this turn. Actually, that could have killed him if one of those had hit the hero. Although he is still getting lucky on the block charges. Ooh, nice, the toadstool. Okay, this thing will... oh, that's a fun one. It'll kill anything that has 4 attack or less. Problem is, I can't play it in the amphibious lane. And that's where some of the strategy in this game comes into play, is that you have some cards which you simply can't play in certain circumstances, so you have a decent amount of strategy related to that. Okay, let's see if we can get lucky on the shrooms. And you will be glorped. Well, eaten. I'm just used to calling it glorping it for some reason. Ooh! Mushrooms and mushrooms and more mushrooms. Excellent. Alrighty, so... the next attack is guaranteed to be blocked by me, even if it happens. So, are you unlucky? You are unlucky. The music in this game's wonderful. Alrighty. There we go, and since this is the rank mode, that's a little bit more gems for me. Nice. I'm surprised my brother hasn't walked in here. I don't know if he's... actually, would he hear me playing this? I mean, he comes in a fair amount, but that's usually when I end up yelling at this game when something crazy happens. So, yeah, let's jump back in. Actually, let's show you around the game a little bit, since this will be the first I showcase this. Because I've got a couple of other video ideas that I want to try out. And one of them involves why I'm playing this game. And since I may as well use this for footage later, if nothing else. But I've been holding off on it, though, because I wanted to make sure that I actually had... well, I'm trying to think of the right word for it. The problem is, I had a lot of trouble getting emulation to work, so that's why I haven't done it. I've been playing it since January, too. Either way, so here is how the collection works. You've got separate cards for the plants and zombies. You can never have plants fighting each other. And... okay, come on, game. So, the way that they make this work is that they came up with an idea that Hearthstone ended up aping for one of their expansions. The idea is that instead of having a generic pool of plants or zombies, you have 5 different pools, with each hero being able to access 2 of them. In this case, Green Shadow here has access to Mega Grow, which as you see, are used for buffing plants and giving bonus attacks. And you also have Smarty, where they can have bouncing, freezing, amphibious cards, all sorts of fun stuff. And the freeze decks you can get with a character called Rose are... imagine if Freeze Mage were Imagine Freeze Mage from Hearthstone. It's that bad. Well, when it was dangerous. So in the case of Solar Flare here, she has access to Explodey and Solars, which means that she can ramp up a little more quickly and has cards that are based on that ramp up, so she can put down things like Sunflowers that can give her more sun on a given turn and all that fun stuff. But she also has a fair amount of removal. Shut up! So, actually if I pull up my deck specifically, so they also give you a bunch of strategy decks. Yes, you can have more than 9 deck slots. Okay, 18, sorry. So the idea of this deck is to act as sort of a middle of the road that can do most everything. It's mostly focused around the synergy between mushrooms, because I get 2 minions here, and outside of specific minions that have a property called Strike Through, which allows you to hit everything in the lane and a hero, it spawns an extra Puffshroom with Team Up, which is really useful because you aren't normally allowed to have 2 minions in the same lane, but minions with the Team Up property can. Then you've also got this Buffshroom here, which I can use to buff every mushroom. A bit of card draw here, something to make even more mushrooms. And then you've got these environment cards, which you saw in action, where you have a bunch of where you put a minion down in it and you have Puffshrooms showing up everywhere. And outside of that, what else do I have in here? Have a couple of flowers here in order to help once that the mushroom synergies have mostly been exhausted. The idea of this one is to ramp up a little bit faster because it's decent for the cost, although not quite ideal, but it does give me a bit of extra sun every turn. And then you've got this thing which will heal me if there are a bunch of flowers. Because it's not much healing, but you know, it's a nice little card. And then you've got heavy removal, you've got the Berry Blast over here, which is decent removal for the cost. You've also got the Whack-a-Zombie, which is a nice little bit of removal as well, although it's a little more specific. And then on the top end, you have these Toadstools, which you saw in action, where you can destroy a zombie within a lane that has 4 attack or less, and it also gives me sun every turn, which is even nicer. And then, to top it all off, I have a couple of legendaries that, one of which, as soon as this is played, it just takes off half of the zombie's current health, which is wonderful. And then over here you have basically, that's a nice board you have there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. While he lacks in a sense of humor, he makes up for it with attitude. And dual Cob Busters. Yeah, this game's a little silly. And then, let's see, if I go over to as for the business model, what's the main thing to note there? Most everything you get comes in the form of packs, where right now they're running a special deal with a new zombie hero that they just put out, where you can potentially get him as well as a bunch of other what are called Galactic and Premium. They added an expansion recently where they added a bunch of Galactic themed cards, so a bunch of space stuff. That's where the cosmic stuff and environments came from. But you've also got all sorts of stuff down here based on what you've been playing, and another thing we'll talk about in a moment. So then you can just get generic packs using gems that you collect by doing daily quests and all that fun stuff. It's sadly not really designed for PC, even though I would love to have a full-on PC version, because look at all this empty space, you could use it for something. Although, if this is recorded right, my cursor might be just disappearing over and over, so deal with it. But there are also certain cards that are event cards, where you can earn the tickets that you saw me earn after the end of the game by beating that zombie, where you can use them to get cards that aren't necessarily in packs. So in this case, they have what I assume is going to be nerfed, because this is a 1-1 for 1, which is not the greatest on its own, but it puts 2 more click Ps into your deck, and it buffs literally every click P. So while this looks like a 1-1 for 1, it's technically a 2-2 for 1, plus however many more click Ps you played before then. So yeah, you get a bunch of click Ps in your deck and suddenly you're dead. It's kind of broken. And I almost don't want to use them in a deck out of principle. So yeah. And you can also earn gems through advertisements and, well, watching advertisements and completing a number of quests related to specific heroes. In this case, increase the strength of 5 plants with Bullseye. That might be doable. Let's jump in and show you what I have for Grass Knuckles. So this guy is, I believe, a Mega Grow and Guardian. I'm trying to remember what kind of deck I made. I'm pretty sure I made this deck to do a Bean Daily because it's got a number of things I like. It's got this, which has the Bullseye property, where when it hits the zombie hero, it doesn't build block charges. Then you've also got pretty much plenty of Ps. One that will slowly increase its health and attack every turn. An environment that does 2 damage to the zombies before they're allowed to attack. Ways to buff Ps. Ps that get benefits by placing on the rightmost lane. And then you've also got all sorts of stuff. This thing has more power whenever based on the number of plants and zombies in the field. And this thing is a nice little thing that blocks attacks, and it has the armored property, which means it automatically takes 1 off of whatever is attacking it. And whenever I would get hit, this thing takes the damage instead, so it takes a little pressure off of me. It's not the strongest deck, but you know, let's jump in and show it off a little bit. Hopefully there'll be an opponent. I don't know, matchmaking has been okay, I guess. Because it's a decent amount of... Well, it's not too hard to find a game, but sometimes... Really? That's one I don't see all that often. Maybe it's because I actually do have a more stable connection than my phone. Probably, actually. Either way, if we can't find a game here, I can go into a single-player mode and just beat up the AI a little bit. Although that could be harder, because the AI matches do a decent amount to vary things up by changing the number of aquatic and heights lanes, by adding certain modifiers to yourself and the zombie and your opponent, and doing all sorts of stuff related to that. Actually, if I'm feeling really brave, I could potentially try and go into the ranked mode with this, but I don't know if I necessarily want to do that. That sounds dangerous. Oh, there we go. Looks like I don't have to worry about that. And we're going up against a complete newbie, or at least someone that doesn't play ranked. I feel dirty now. Alright, so this will probably be fairly easy, but ooh, that's a good starting hand too. Let's take it. So, every turn this thing gets more power. This thing is amphibious, so we'll start with this. I can actually trade up by doing this. Normally I'd want to put that in an aquatic lane, but you know, given the circumstances, take what value you can get, right? Because this is a card game. It's all about building up strength on your side of the field while trying to keep the opposing player from doing the same. So, that is the name of the game. Okay, an anti-hero plant. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. The quest was to increase the strength of... Well, I think it was to increase the strength, which refers to the attack. Actually, wait, since this is a P, I can throw the torchwood in front of it, and it'll get a little bit of damage. That'll be nice. I don't know why he didn't play the anti-hero in an opposing lane, because that thing does 4 damage when there's no plant opposing it. Okay, he got the draw 2 cards superpower. That's good for him. Hopefully he'll get a couple more options with that. Because Super Brains works by having a lot of Trixie. He's up his sleeve. He has a lot of cards that can make zombies deadly, which means whenever they hit it, do any damage to a plant, they guarantee kill it. Fortunately, that doesn't apply to the plant hero. They also have... What else does he have? He can move zombies around, as you saw. He's got a couple of other ways to do that as well. And I'm starting to regret putting that piece in a pod up there, because now my Sky Shooter... I can't put my Sky Shooter up there to make it a 5/4. That's annoying. Well, let's put this down and see what happens. And there's that deadly zombie I was talking about. If I had put down a buff to the Torchwood to make its health higher, it wouldn't have mattered because it would have died anyway. But that is a good way of getting some damage back down, although I probably would have put it on this thing because it is much more dangerous. Okay, he got a block. Unlucky on my part, but it looks like I will trade relatively evenly, but I am not getting the cards I would want. Okay. Alright, that's a decent thing to block my attacks with, because that way... I don't agree with that move. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put this down here, because I have the Podfather, which means whenever I play another P, it gets buffed immediately. This actually ain't a bad idea. Actually, I should have put that down for the torchwood, but I guess it would have died anyway. But either way, that is a nice little superpower. You get one superpower at the start of each game, and then you randomly get the next. Oh dear. Good move, buddy. That'll kill almost everything in my lane. Actually, yeah, you have a serious card advantage on me now. That is not good. And that is sort of the problem that you can run into with this game, is that every type of plant that you have has its own little weaknesses. Because the Solar Flare deck I have and used to beat that guy, the main problem I have with it right now is that it doesn't have a lot of card draw until the late game. Ew! Okay, so thankfully this thing will survive, and you don't have any more brains to throw tricks at me. So we'll throw this onto the heights, and that'll be a decent 5-4, although I'm gonna take 4 damage this turn, which I'm not happy about. However, how many minions will be on the field next turn? Let's see. Alright, but the A-Pod is still... Oh, you're conceding. Sad face. Well, I guess I can have fun for a last game, then. What do I want to play? Actually, no. I don't play the zombies all that much, but there we are, and now I got a bunch of crafting resources. Hey, brother.
I'm trying to convert an AVI file into an MP3 file.
Into what? AVI to MP3? Don't you mean MP4?
You know what I mean. I don't know how to do that.
I'll help you with it once I'm done here. So, in the meantime, I guess you can watch me beat up someone with my favorite deck.
So you unlocked the Brass Knuckles, huh?
Yeah, I did so a while back. But, the idea behind this deck is to have a bunch of walnuts and such. If I'm not lazy, I'll show a little bit on the other screen.
Yeah.
Well, next to this. Hang on, let me finish this. So, the idea behind this deck is that I've got a number of synergies with it. First of all, I have a lot of walnuts and sunflowers, both of which don't have any strength by default and can't hit people, but one of them is very durable and useful to throw in front of minions that I want to keep alive. The other is great because it gives me a bit of extra sun, allowing me to ramp up a little more quickly. But I also have a couple of synergies built around this. I have a plant called Mixed Nut, which if played next to a plant with Team Up, becomes a 4 for 3 instead of a 2 for 3, which is very powerful, especially in the early game. I also have something called a Spine Apple, which gives everything that doesn't have an attack 2 damage, which means suddenly all of those walnuts that you didn't worry about before are now killing all your dudes. And then finally, I have the Mirror Nut, which operates on the same logic as stop hitting yourself, because every time you hit one of these nuts, you get hit in the face. And it's wonderful. If it would even show up. Anyway, what were you saying, brother?
Hey, I ran into... Well, since an update to Star Wars Commander, for some reason, and some units that shouldn't be spawning at times are spawning, and it's keeping me from winning at times. I made a video of one of these instances, though. Oh, the file size is too big to send via email to the developers.
Then the easiest thing to do would be to upload it to YouTube. And then send them the link. Actually, that probably would be the easiest thing in general.
Yeah.
Alright, we're good.
But I can't get I don't know how to export or the AVI into MP4.
Why do you need to?
It might compress the file size down.
Well, YouTube's gonna do that anyway. Alrighty, let's get into this. That is a decent starting hand. So, let's see what we've got. Oh, good, I can play my Sunflower.
Hopefully after this we can see about... Hopefully when you're done here we can see what we can do.
Yeah, in the meantime. So, that card is one with Overshoot, which means before it plays, it does 2 damage to me. Which is unfortunate, but right now it means more block charges, so I'm not going to complain too much. And there's my Sunflower doing work. So, what's your move? You are going to be a very unhappy camper. There's my Mixed Nuts doing work. Alrighty, so you're going to do 3 more damage to me likely with your Overshoot plant, but that's fine. Ow. Nope, block charges. Okay, Now I've got a healing superpower in case I want it for later. Excellent. Meanwhile... Actually, I might use it anyway to heal up my mixed nuts. Ooh, the disco zombie. Okay, so this looks like a modified dancing deck. Okay, here's what we'll do. Step 1, make sure that the disco dancer goes down. Yes, I know, brother, I'm so clever. So, and then step 2, heal myself to keep the mixed nuts alive. So this will heal everything for 4. I is happy now. Enjoy the vibraphone. Yeah, I love the music in this game. It's just... I've been wanting to get emulation to work for a while because I don't always get to hear the music, and it's wonderful. Alright, yes, keep giving me block charges! Keep giving me block charges! I love it. Alrighty, now how do I want to deal with that? Because I've got a couple of aquatic eggplants here. Ooh, I know what I want to do. Yes, I know exactly what I want to do. Behold the Smackademia! I hate the pun too. So, that gives every nut on the field, including itself... Wait, but that doesn't kill it. Wouldn't you have been better off going for the sunflower? Nah, I'm gonna keep that for later. At this rate, I'm gonna run out of block charges. Actually, that might be his goal. Because then he can throw down something big and stompy and I won't be able to block it. And that's where some of the strategy can come in, where you may want to wait and let something hit you in the face because you know that it'll be blocked by the block charges. So that's where positioning comes into play. Okay, those things are starting to be threatening. Let's start dealing with them. Step 1. That looks weird, but there's a method to the madness. I've got my spine apple ready to go. Then we'll throw down the sage, since it's whatever I throw in there's gonna die anyway. Now, shink! Well, that didn't time out well. I did not think that one through. At least I'll know not to sink by that. Ugh. Alright, so that gets blocked. Ooh, I can have even more... Alright. I don't even lose the sunflower. I feel dirty for that. Although, admittedly, I can't play any more minions right now. Unless I move one of these two. And I've been reminded why I don't record live all that often. Okay. So, what have you got next? I've got a nasty board that you probably don't want to deal with, but you're gonna have to. Okay, trying to go for my face. Fair enough. So... Okay, so this is a motley deck. Although I don't know if he knows how the force works, because that thing's gonna die as soon as... before he's allowed to even spawn it. I think he's just desperate at this point. So here's what we'll do. We'll play hard to get. We will abide by the logic of stop hitting yourself. And is there anything I want to move around? Oh, that should be good. There we go. Alright, and stop hitting yourself! Oh, wait, are you... What? That's gonna put them next to the walnuts. They're gonna die instantly to the sunflowers, and then you're gonna take 2 damage to the face anyway. Actually, wait, you might be dead this turn. Let's find out. Pew! Ooh. That was dirty. I feel bad for that. That was mean. I think I'm gonna give him a break later. Well, today. Yeah, I'll wait till I get a daily quest. Maybe mess around on the rank ladder where I can beat up people my own size. Alrighty then. But I don't have too many of the cards, and there is somewhat of an issue where you have people with strictly better cards that are able to do a lot more. And that is one of the problems with the strategy decks if I go over to where they're located. Let's see. Oh, come on, game. Oh, dear. I should probably... either way. But that is a problem with one of the strategy decks. You can only really start playing it when you have certain synergies. Because this one uses the idea of a bunch of healing plants, where you've got something that will do damage based on how much has been healed. And then you've also got a couple other plants that can do healing. Things such as this environment, that flower, and this thing just flat out heals and draws cards. And then you've also got something that'll get buffed whenever someone's healed, on your side anyway. And since this has a fair number of environments, we also throw in the Cosmos in order to get a little bit more power. Wait, what was that pun? He's peeled to grass Lycan's big... Oh, jeez. Yeah, the puns are a little ridiculous. I could just go through the flavor text and have a lot of fun with this. But the problem is that I don't have a few cards that would make this work really well. For instance, this Astra Vera is a legendary that is very hard to find. It gives me maximum health, and then heals the hero, which... that's really nice! And I don't has! And it means I have to make do with a lot of other things, although...
Did you win that one?
Yeah, I beat him. But it also has stuff like this, which allows for really heavy removal if it's able to survive. And then you've also got this thing, which is strictly better than the Whack-A-Zombie. Although I'm pretty sure the Whack-A-Zombie is in... Actually, where is the Whack-A-Zombie? I'm trying to remember which set it's a part of. Let's go hunting. I should find it if I look there. Okay, it is a solar plant, but still, you would expect the Guardian plants to be more focused on tough minions that are able to stay alive, because that's the whole idea of my Walmite deck. But so why would they get the Shamrocket and Solar would get the Whack-A-Zombie? It's hammer time. Oh jeez, hashtag had to be said. But yeah, this game is a fun. I cannot speak. Can you see why I mostly do scripted stuff? Whenever I try and do this off the cuff, no, I'm no Total Biscuit. I can't do the thing. Either way, I hope this was still enjoyable to watch, if nothing else, and I'll probably still do a why I'm playing this where I can be a little more concise and talk a couple more about a few things. Well, talk a little bit more about some of the specifics, but hey, as a way to introduce people to the game, why not be more genuine and take away the script? Either way, thanks for watching. I'll see you all later. Hopefully I can stop being lazy and actually do some work next time. Although admittedly I was working full time this week, so either way, goodbye.